Junk phones. Yes, it's time for another video about crappy junk phones. Everyone loves to hate these boys. But, before we get started, we should do the junk phone intro. First, we should start out with how we do the junk phone videos. Like that we use this iPhone SE to listen to all the junk phones with. I talked about this boy in a recent video, and it's good for these types of videos because it has a headphone jack, which is almost a must to do these. So yeah, that's the music player we use. We also have a basic control pair of headphones, and they are the Apple EarPods. For the price, they actually sound pretty good. They also have pretty natural sounding audio and have a bit of bass. They have a pretty good remote too, with all the features you want. And of course it has a headphone jack. So yeah, these boys are pretty nice. Now let's plug them into the SE. Of course they get all tangled. Anyways, I'll be back after a quick listen. You're listening to the very good mic quality of the Apple EarPods. So yeah, that's what those boys sound like. They sound pretty decent compared to the junk phones later in the video. And with these boys you can actually hear the synth in the song, which is good. The synths are the main part of the song, besides the beat. And this boy's remote actually is responsive and functions. The phone almost responds immediately to the presses of buttons. So yeah, that's good. And our friend the headphone jack is making it all possible. This thing also doesn't have a cord made out of garbage. So yeah, these boys are pretty well-rounded headphones. They have good sounding audio, a little bass, and they are made well. Unlike some of the horror shows we'll see later. Oh, and they also fit in my ears perfectly, unlike the ones later. Oh, I can't wait. So yeah, these boys are probably the best you'll see in this video. Now let's unplug these nice boys from the SE and make way for the junk phones. First up, we have these promising boys. The Chrome White Bud Boys. Being as cheap as ever using chromed out plastic, which I think looks really ugly. Also, these buds don't look like they fit in my ears at all. Those bud tips are too big. And the headphone jack is basic. There is one thing that I like about the Dollar Tree buds though, and that's this volume slider. This thing actually functions well, which is surprising for most Dollar Tree buds. So yeah, that's a pretty cool feature. This cord is made out of crap though. And the headphone jack isn't gold plated either. How sad. Anyways, let's see if these boys sound hollow. They actually don't sound that bad. It could be that they're hitting each other every time with the bud part though. So yeah, these boys are pretty junky junk phones. But anyways, let's plug them into the SE. Anyways, I'll be back after a quick listen. You're listening to the crappy mic quality of the chrome white Bud Boys. So yeah, that's pretty much the Junkphone experience right there. For starters, you can barely hear the synth track in the song. The beat is there, but the synth is almost obsolete. Also, the Bud parts don't fit in my ear at all. The microphone was a bit better, but not by much. At least the volume slider worked as intended. That part I would never call bad. And we won't talk about this headphone jack. These Junkphones do have a unique design though, even though you can see the mold lines. And the cord feels like it could rip it apart easily. At least the remote isn't crappily made. So yeah, these Junkphones are pretty junky. You can almost tell they sell for $1.25. Luckily, that means they're cheap, and I can destroy them without feeling loss. Next up, we have a familiar face. Yes, it's the Kobe Junkphones from that Kobe tablet video. Let's get these boys out of their luxurious bag. And unravel them, seeing as they're tangled. First impressions, they look pretty nice. And they weigh a lot. These boys have some weight behind them. Only one problem though. They're literally the exact same pair as the ones I destroyed a while ago. They are literally the exact same thing, except that the left one is shinier. To be honest, the Kobe's look better not shiny though. So yeah, these boys probably ripped off someone else's design. And as usual, the cord is a piece of junk. We also have the stupid splitter thing that some companies just have to make obnoxiously big. But at least this headphone jack is shiny, although not gold plated. So yeah, these boys are pretty heavy and are seemingly well built, even if they do look similar to another pair. Anyways, let's plug the Kobe boys into that SE. Situate the SE a little bit. And I'll be back after a quick listen to these boys. So yeah, that was the Kobe Junkphones. They sounded decent, at least I could hear the synths on this one. These might actually be the best ones so far. And they definitely sounded better than the ones that are cut up on top of my desk. So yeah, these boys are in first place. Also, the headphone jack is shined up, unlike the last pair, which is good. So yeah, they may be heavy and look like another pair, but these boys are actually pretty decent. And they semi-fit in my ears, so that's also a plus. 'Cause almost nothing fits in my ears. Now let's see how hollow these boys sound. if I can get them untangled. Seeing as they're pretty heavy, there's probably a lot in there. So yeah, these boys came with a pretty average tablet for the time, and they are pretty average headphones. I could probably survive with these if they were all I had. Although it's kinda sad they had to look like buds that I hate so much. Next up, we have a new pair of Junkphones. The Blue Junk Boys. And as you can see, they're trying to be fancy. They also have that stupid flat cable. I hate those. Anyways, let's open these sad blue boys up. I can see we're going full plastic waste mode here. Give me my buds. Alright, now that we got that packaging out of the way, let's untwisty tie these boys. Well, first impressions, these boys weigh nothing. And this cord is as thin as a piece of paper. Ew, why are these so rattly? Is the speaker just flying around in there? Well, these are cheaply made. You can even take this chromed plastic off. Wait, can you take this off too? No. Why? These are cheaper than I expected. Well, let's put these pieces back on. I wasn't expecting these boys to fall so low. And we won't even talk about this cord. The headphone jack is so ugly. They all look the same. Oh, ew. This has sticker glue all over it. Disgusting. So yeah, these boys are really disgusting. All the shiny bits can just be pulled off, and they aren't even glued in that well. Anyways, let's untangle these boys that have somehow managed to get tangled. And then plug these disgusting buds into the SE. I'm sorry, SE. I know you hate disgusting buds. But anyways, I'll be back after a quick listen. Well, that's pretty much exactly what I expected. Disgusting audio to go along with a disgusting pair of buds. These boys absolutely suck. They also don't fit in my ears, so they sound even worse. They did pick out a decent color for the buds though. I really like it. But this cord is not something I like. It's like floss for your teeth. These boys do look unique though, I'll give them that. And no mold lines, that's good. These people didn't buy the right glue though, especially the glue for the speaker. That boy's just shaking around in there, probably making the speaker worse as we speak. We also have the headphone jack that's not gold plated, as typical from the Dollar Tree. So yeah, this pair of buds is a rattly, disgusting, falling apart mess. Like, listen to that rattle. Now the usual hollow test. Oh, the hollowness sounds even worse when the speaker's free. I will give them credit for making that little round bit out of actual metal. They could have just done chromed plastic, but no. Next up, we have some big ones. The Big Boy Bud Boys. Now these are something I personally have never seen before. It's like over ears, but they go on your ear like earbuds. On the back it says it's a 27mm diameter speaker, so the biggest speakers that Dollar Tree has given us yet. Anyways, let's open these boys. That was pretty easy. We're already at the Bud Boys. Wow, these boys have some weight to them. Must be those 27mm speakers. Let's untwisty tie them. Come on, twisty tie. Twisty ties get really annoying sometimes. Okay, so first impressions. These boys are really big, obviously. They sound pretty hollow though, so I'm wondering if we actually got a 27mm speaker. But they are heavy, so that could be a good sign. And, like usual, the cord is something to be desired. But they did give us the volume slider, so I'm happy. It still amazes me why Dollar Tree decided to do this instead of just buttons. Buttons probably would have been cheaper. What is cheap is this headphone jack. It is really crappy. And yeah, this padding is non-existent. Also, I don't know how this will stay on your ears. This thing has a lot of play in it. Whatever, guess I'll figure it out when I put them on. So yeah, these boys are pretty big and also pretty different. And they have the little ear things that I don't know work. Anyways, let's untangle these boys and plug them into the SE. And I'll be back after a quick listen to these boys. You're listening to the mic quality of the Big Boy Bud Boys. So yeah, that was the Big Boys. The bigger speakers actually helped a bit. The audio sounded a bit wider. I mean, still not good, but wider. It also seemed to have a bit more bass. I don't know if that's just me though. The little ear things didn't stay in my ear that well, which was expected. Just too much movement in them. So yeah, these boys were decent. Even the mic was pretty average too. This cord is something to be desired though. Something so thin holding up something that's heavy. So yeah, these boys are probably in second place for me. You could hear the synths in the audio, and it also had a bit of bass, as I already said. Also, I guess Dollar Tree is right about the 27mm speaker. They're probably the best sounding Dollar Tree buds. And they are unique too. They don't look like anything else. So yeah, these boys are pretty cool big buds. Next up, we have another pair. The Red Bud Boys. And you can pretty much see what they're blatantly ripping off here. You guessed it, they're rip-off Apple EarPods. I also don't know why it says it's compatible with other smartphones, seeing as most new ones don't have headphone jacks. Whatever, Dollar Tree's got a Dollar Tree, I guess. Anyways, let's open these boys. Thanks for the plastic waste. Oh no, I can feel the cheapness already. That is completely hollow. And it has one sad, crappy button. Yeah, these buds are even worse than the blue Bud Boys. Like, Listen to how crappy they sound. These are really hollow as well, go figure. Dollar Tree has disappointed me. Well, let's unwrap these boys before I get carried away. Oh, and by the way, this cord sucks also. Yeah, these are the definition of horrible. And it has the same headphone jack they all have. The bad one. I also want to know why they made the remote so big. They had the other one that was on the Big Boy Bud Boys that worked fine. Guess they wanted a bigger button. And a super thin cord. I also hate that the speakers are just free to wiggle around in there. So yeah, these boys are pretty bad and don't have my favorite volume slider. Anyways, it's time to bring in the SE. Now let's untangle these crappy boys and plug them into the SE. Come on, just untangle. Anyways, I'll be back after trying to listen to these boys. So yeah, you're listening to the sound of the red mic. Well, these are horrible to listen to. These boys are the worst buds today. Not only do these speakers suck, but the main microphone feature is worse than the ones that don't brag about their microphones. This is just disappointing. And when you press this button, it is very delayed. You press it, wait like 10 seconds, and it finally pauses the music. Even the other Junkphones are more responsive than this. So yeah, these boys are pretty junky. Especially seeing as they rattle when you shake them. Also, of course the headphone jack is basic. It's probably not helping the remote situation go any faster either. It sucks so bad that the microphone doesn't even want to cooperate with it. So yeah, these boys are the worst buds today. Anyways, now it's time for the rating. And in first place, we actually have the Kobe Junkphones. These boys are actually good because they are not from the Dollar Tree. And that means they probably aren't using the same speakers. These boys feel well built as well. So yeah, the Kobe's are pretty decent and they got first place. In second place, we have you know who. Yes, it's the Big Boy Bud Boys. These boys are mostly good because they had a pretty big speaker compared to all the other buds. And they actually didn't lie about the speaker size either, I checked. But they are really easy to take apart, seeing as I measured the speaker. I also have some problems with the design. They do look unique, but they also don't stay on your ears that well and are prone to falling off. It does have the volume slider that I like, so that's good. Still amazes me that Dollar Tree decided to do the slider. The headphone jack isn't gold-plated though, which is disappointing. So yeah, these buds are pretty big and also pretty decent. Next up, we have these boys. The Chrome White Bud Boys. These boys had a pretty basic speaker, but at least they look like something you would actually want to use. That chrome thing doesn't look the best though. Probably one of the bad things about these boys. The cord is also pretty junky, but a lot of buds do that. So yeah, these Junkphones are pretty average. Next up, in fourth place, we have the Blue Junk Boys. Now these boys are not good buds. They rattle when you shake them, you can take them apart, and they sound like garbage. But they stay above the Red Boys,
'cause even for being crappy, they're still better than them. They also don't stay in your ears at all. But they do use actual metal to make it look better. Yeah, that circle thing is solid metal. So yeah, these blue bud boys are very crappy and I would not buy them. But they do look nice enough that you could trick someone into buying them. Oh, and by the way, the cord is a piece of trash. And last but obviously least, we have the red bud boys. Now these boys are the junkiest of the junk. Both of the buds have speakers that aren't even held down by anything. They're just flying around freely in there. So yeah, that part's pretty cheap. We also have your incredibly basic headphone jack. It doesn't look good at all. So yeah, these boys are just kind of trash. It also has another problem that plagues most of the cheaper buds. And that's the very thin, cheaply made wire problem. And, as you can see, these buds probably have the thinnest cord of all of them. But now it's time to bring a fun boy in to take care of these boys. And that means, time for the scissor boys. Now it's time for the scissor boys to have a feast. Go, scissor boys! Let's see if I can break these buds with very little pressure. And the scissor boy's purge is over. Now he left us more corpses to put at the top of my desk. And also a big mess that we have to clean up. But thanks to the scissor boys, we have eradicated another set of crappy junk phones. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Remember to get a good pair of earbuds instead of the junk phone ones. And if you want to see more junk phone videos, leave a comment down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.